Sam. This is Stephen calling from the Northwest.
Stephen from the Northwest. I love how people are now just giving regions. But yes, welcome to the
Yeah,
program, Steve.
it's geographical now. I'm picking up on that. Yeah, I'm an immigration attorney, actually, and I wanted to talk about dog whistles in the immigration debate. I know you're just talking about that a little bit.
Well, as
One
an
of the reasons
immigration
why
attorney,
it's
Stephen, hold on for 1 second. As an immigration attorney, did I say anything? Did I say anything that was incorrect in terms of the law is concerned?
no, I think that you were right on. I mean, there are people who reenter after having been deported, and they can be charged criminally in federal court for illegal reentry. But most people who are here undocumented, they go through a removal proceeding, which is an administrative court. And actually, one of the weird things about our system is that there's a huge group of people who can actually get papers by being in removal proceedings. And so the current immigration system actually encourages undocumented immigrants to stay in the United States. And it encourages certain people to cross their fingers and hope that they get caught, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
But anyways, I wanted to talk about how you know that it's the underlying reasons for opposing immigration reform are all racial. And I think the biggest reason is, the people who are here undocumented embody better than anyone else the Republican ideals. They're self-reliant. They don't get public benefits. They don't qualify for them. They pay into Social Security but will never receive those benefits. They take the hardest jobs, the lowest paying jobs, and they do them well. Yet you'll never hear them being praised for those things. These are people who, the Republicans who criticize these hardworking immigrants, they've got kids who never have to get summer jobs. They pay for their kids' education, so their own families don't reflect these values that supposedly they hold true. And so that there's underlying things, and it's the same thing if you go back to the civil rights era or before. I mean, people didn't just say, I dislike African Americans. They had all these sort of phony reasons
Right.
For opposing civil rights. And the same thing is true today. I mean, if I go out in my community, I don't hear people saying, I hate Mexicans. They say things like, well, illegal is illegal, and I believe in the rule of law, or whatever, these sort of phony reasons for opposing immigration reform. And it's really crazy because where I'm from, the undocumented immigrants are doing the hardest work. I mean, I live in the middle of apple country, and they're out there right now in 10-degree weather pruning trees and doing all this type of work. And we depend on them.
It is sort of just like, to break down the notion of like, we can't possibly give these 10 million people an opportunity to become citizens, because then we would be rewarding, I guess, their cutting in front of line, like rewarding what exactly? The fact that they've had to live these sort of like existence in the shadows, getting no rights, getting
Right.
exploited, their labor. Why wouldn't we reward that? I mean, it's just absurd.
They pay the price every day, and the other thing, talking about the food stamp issue, the people I see, I think that conservatives like these little anecdotal warm blanket stories about, I knew a guy who, committed fraud and he got food stamps when he didn't need them. And yeah, those stories exist, but the great majority of the people I work with who are getting food stamps are getting them for their children who have lawful status. And the parents, you have households where both parents work year-round, and they're making less than $40,000 a year, and they're working the hardest type of work. And this idea that, the whole freeloader thing, again, there's underlying reasons there why they support these kind of blame the poor policies, and a lot of times it does come down to good old-fashioned racism, I think.
Yep.
But
I agree with you.
good interview today. Thanks for the show.